Hey everybody, it's Lorillia, your money mentor, and in the last video I promised that I would go more in depth in terms of what I mentioned to you about the validity of the debt. So what is validity of the debt? It's actually part of the FDCPA section code, which I said all debt collectors fall under, which is part of the FTC, Federal Trade Commission. And so what does that mean, layman terms? Many people, if you've heard of this term, you may have heard it as debt validation. Now, we all know what validation means. And if you don't, the word validation means is that you have to validate it, show proof. And so that is what a debt collector has to do. A debt collector has to show proof that they either own the debt, meaning that they legally purchased it, or that the debt was assigned to them. But let me go into, and I want to go back to they legally own the debt. What does that mean to the consumer? Basically, I'm going to give you a small example. You recently, or should I say a few years ago, may have had a, let's just say, Visa card. And you maybe fell into hard times, or maybe was just, I don't want to say irresponsible, because I don't want to be judgmental, but just couldn't keep up with paying the credit card bill. And so what happens is that credit card company for several months have tried to get a payment from you. And with no luck, they've decided that Jane Doe is not going to pay us. And so what happens is Visa says after 120 days, or between 120 and 180, Jane Doe isn't going to pay us. So this account cannot be collected on. It's now considered a charged off account, meaning she has not paid on it for over 120 days. And we are not in the business of trying to chase Jane Doe to pay us. We're in the business to make a profit. So what we're going to do as Visa, we're going to sell off Jane Doe's account along with 1,000 others that have not paid us. And so ABC debt collectors say, hey, we're in the business of buying those bad accounts, those accounts where people don't want to pay you. So what happens is that Visa makes an agreement with ABC debt collectors, and Visa says, okay, ABC debt collectors, we will sell it to you. And ABC debt collectors will say, okay, we will purchase, but we will only purchase your bad accounts on a discount. So what does the discount mean? I mean, what is it? If Jane Doe owes about $1,000 to Visa, ABC debt collectors say we are only going to purchase Jane Doe's account for a discount. And so it varies from different debt collectors, but they'll say, ABC debt collector may say, we will purchase her account for about $200. So that leaves potential profit of about $800 for us if we collect on it, or even more. And so back to validation of debts. Now that ABC debt collectors have purchased the debt, they now have to prove to Jane Doe that they can collect on it. And so Jane Doe knows her rights, and she knows that ABC debt collector has to do this. And so what happens is that Jane Doe sends ABC debt collectors a validation letter, also known as validity of the debt, according to the FDCPA. It's code section 809, validation of debts, or validity of debts. And she sends them a letter, which I said that you can find on jumpstartyourcreditbook.com in the resource section. I give you a free letter for you to download. It's a word letter. And she sends it to them. If ABC debt collectors, they have 30 days to answer that letter. If they do not answer that letter, if they decide to ignore Miss Jane Doe's request, they no longer could hassle her. And to me, and it should be for you, it's a secret weapon. It's a secret weapon that many consumers are not aware of. They don't understand that there is a loophole in the law. It's a loophole in the law that's not talked about by many, should I say, so-called professionals. So what this means is that use this debt validation strategy as a way to fight debt collectors. So I'm going to leave you with that. My name is Lorillia Brown-Phillips, your money mentor. If you're interested in learning more about where you can find that debt validation letter, I want you to go to www.jumpstartyourcreditbook.com under the resource section. There you will be able to find that letter, and there you will be able to use that as your secret weapon to fight debt collectors. Until the next video, bye-bye.